Here's some real fundamentals about holding an ukulele or a guitar. Most people start with their hand positioned flat on the fingerboard like this, and that's really a logical way to approach it. It just doesn't work very well. So I'm going to suggest that you practice just turning your hand open like this. And there's a name for this type of rotation. When you rotate your hand open and away from the fingerboard, that's called pronation. And I rotate it back in, that's supination. And it comes from the words prone and supine, going into pronated position. You can tap your thumb on the back here for some orientation, and then go back, let the thumb off into that supinated position. Now, in this position, when you try and reach, your fingers don't arch very well across the strings. They pretty much want to flatten out on the strings. It's hard to get strings to sound individually clear. Also, when you try and stretch, you end up using these really weak abductor muscles between your fingers. They're the interossei muscle. And that's this kind of spread. Just, do that for a while. See how your hand feels. Okay, starting with your hand supinated on the neck, move it down so your finger goes below the nut, and then open it up a little bit. The nut is this black piece that goes across. Usually it's black, sometimes white. From there, see if you can just curl your first finger down. Leave the other fingers kind of arched. First finger touches down and releases, touch and release. And when you're in this nice pronated position, you can see how far my hand's opened out. I'm going to supinate it back in, and everything gets awkward when I do that. So I'm going to pronate out, touch that first finger down, and then tap it a little bit. I'm going to move my second finger out of the way so you can see better. Second finger is not tapping, just the first. Then leave that finger and tap the second finger a little bit. And as you do that, you might be able to just put a guitar pick in between your fingers. This guitar pick's not so easy to see because it's almost clear, but there it is between my fingers. And if you're holding this well and you're tapping, your fingers stay together, the pick doesn't drop to the floor. You can still go with the ring finger. Now you're not trying to hold your fingers tight together. You're just keeping your hand pronated. Right here is away from the neck, and tapping your fingers in a relaxed manner. Once your hand's pronated, your fingers naturally go together. When you're supinated onto the neck and you try and reach, they tend to get these spaces in between when you're using those adductor muscles. So most important thing, get yourself out of this supinated position, pronate. Start with your hand back behind the nut so you can reach out. You want to be able to reach out to that first finger position rather than being close up to the nut and having to really compress to get it. I'm going to let go of that compression by moving the base of my hand back. I have a much better way of reaching at this point. A little hard to show that, but that's the basics. Supinate, get out of that position. Bring your hand back behind the nut, touch the first finger down, relax your fingers together. Most people tend to put in extra effort that holds them opened, even when they don't need. Just relax them together, and then tap each finger individually. First finger on the first fret, second finger on the second fret, third finger on the third fret. Release them all, and then try it on the next string. You can make some noise if you tap hard enough. And just those little movements for a few weeks will get you in a really good position for playing melodies and chords.